It's just told me it's recording.
Yeah.
I'm happy to give anything a go, to be honest. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how have you been the last couple of days? Because obviously you said you were feeling quite good because you've been doing things that you wanted to do, and you know, that sort of stuff.
I think the night of the day I spoke to you was really bad.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Tell me tell me what really bad looks like. What did you experience? What was going on for you?
I just had all these feelings and just couldn't stop crying, thinking about things, and just, yeah, I just wasn't happy. Yeah. Nothing would have made me happy. Well, there would have been a few things that could have made me happy, but they weren't possible at the time. So like, I didn't want to go wake my mum up and give her a hug because she was asleep, and like I couldn't go and get my dog because he's asleep, and so it was like those two things would probably have made me better. Yeah. At least forget about it for about a while, but then I couldn't do that, so I was just like beating myself up, to be honest.
You were. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But then I've been okay-ish since. I feel a bit ill at the minute. I feel like I've got a cold coming, hence why I'm sort of probably come across as quite grumpy, but I feel like I've got a cold coming.
Okay. So that's my dog just come in the room. So she's just come in, and now she probably won't be able to get out again. So I'll see how she gets on.
I've got my dog's right in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, well I'm on my own today. So normally, so my office is upstairs, husband's office is downstairs, and we work from home. But I'm out. They're all out today. So usually I would say to Lee, come and sort the dogs out. You know what I mean? It's like, but not today. That's okay. No. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, which will sort of help you to understand some stuff, okay, rather than just me talking at you. And I think I said to you on the phone, I'm not a counsellor. You're not here to sort of tell me all about your woes and your worries, okay? I'm here to help you from the present moment, with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your sensations in the present moment, and what you can do now and how you can impact your future rather than going over what's happened in the past. Okay, so let me share my screen. And okay, right. So just move that up. Right, so basically what it says on the screen here is, obviously I do lots of programs. I've got a program called Project You. So what we're doing together for the next 6 weeks is we are actually going to sort of cover the sort of beginning parts of what I do with my clients that I'm working with for 3 months, because you're doing 6 weeks, so it's sort of like the first part, and it's very much about a softer approach to changing your behaviors. You know, it's not about quick fixes. Although I'm only with you for 6 weeks, I'm going to give you things that you can continue to use long term. Okay. It's about building new neural structures in your brain, and it's about consciously regulating your nervous system. Okay. So when you said to me the other night, you know, you were feeling you weren't feeling really good at all, and you just wanted to go and have a hug with your mum or a hug with your dog, you know, that's because your nervous system was craving that safety and that security. Okay. However, you can do that for yourself, and I'm going to teach you how to do that actually today. All right. So it's about long-lasting effects. So let me just see if I can shut that door. Never know, they might not come in again. All right. So it's not quick fixes, it's long-term life-altering practices. Okay. And it's not just mental health stuff, it's emotional resilience. You cannot separate a human being, you know, so we can't separate this bit from this bit. Okay. There's no way we can do that yet. What happens in the mental health arena is they tend to talk about everything to do with your mind and your thoughts, and how we can change our thought processes, and, you know, how we can think, reframe things differently. But we've got this whole body that contains our nervous system, which is completely part of this, your brain. Yeah. And this is what I'm about, and this is why it works, because we're looking at you as a whole system rather than just trying to fix the way you think or the way you feel. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. So if you were working with me for a long time, okay, which some people do for 12 months or so, we'd be looking at rewiring your brain, reprogramming your mind, recalibrating your nervous system, reprocessing trauma, rewriting the story of your life, and reconstructing you. So it's a big job, okay? Now, where you're at, what we're going to do for 6 weeks is we're going to I'm going to throw everything I can at you in a way that you can process it and actually practice it, okay? Not to completely overwhelm you, but to actually sort of get in what we can, that you can then continue to practice and make a daily practice out of the things that I give you. Okay, how's that sound to you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good. Right. Now, I like to have a bit of fun. I like to make things a little bit different and a little bit more interesting. Okay. So I've got a toolkit, which is called the MAD toolkit. And it's called MAD because it stands for making a difference. Okay. So it's about you making a difference to yourself. This will be your toolkit that you will have. And in the toolkit, I've got things called joy shots. There's no alcohol. I was looking for one. I looked at my joy shot glasses. I haven't got one here. It's just basically a tool or a technique. Okay, it's just my fun name for them. Reframes are ones that we can change the thought processes. So it's more cognitive, more mental based. We've got the power down at the bottom, which is the knowledge. It's the knowledge and the information that actually is the underpinning of everything that we'll be doing. It's like giving you, here's what's going on for you physiologically, here's what's going on in your brain, here's what's going on in your nervous system. That's why it's making you do this or feel that way. And when you can understand it from that point of view, you feel a lot better because you can understand it, so you don't feel so overwhelmed and so lost. And also you're more prepared to practice some of the tools and the techniques that I give you, because you can see what they're actually doing physiologically for you. Okay, and then the experiments are sort of longer term things where I'd say to you, you know, I want you to experiment with this for the next week. I want you to experiment with this for the next 4 weeks. So that's the toolkit. Okay, so then you will then go into your own experimental laboratory. Okay, so you're going to try this out for size. You're going to see what works for you. I'm going to give you a range of tools and techniques, and you're going to try them out, and you're going to experiment with them, and you're going to see what works and what doesn't. Okay, because they're not all going to work for you. No. We're all different, you know, it's not a one size fits all. But what I would say to you, Lexi, is if I'm going to give you something, don't jump into this thinking this is it, this is gonna you know solve all my problems and it's gonna fix me. You don't need fixing for a start. You're not broken. Okay. No. Absolutely not broken. There's parts of you that are stuck and lost and whatever within the whole of you, but you are not broken. Okay. So I want you to think of it this way, as an experiment. I'm going to try this, I'm going to experiment with it, and I'm not going to have I'm not going to say it's going to work, but I'm not going to say it's not going to work. I'm not going to have an expectation either way. I'm just going to experiment with these and have an open mind and see what happens for me personally and how it works and you know what doesn't, and do it that way. So you'll be bringing out your inner Einstein, as I say, you know, going into your own little life laboratory and trying it all out. So alongside the tools and the techniques that I'm going to give you over the 6 weeks, I've decided to also, probably not this week because I don't want to overwhelm you in our first session, but I'm also going to give you access to a couple of other sort of big tools really. The first one is the fundamentals. Okay, so you can see I like to have fun, I like to make it, you know, enjoyable. And what are fundamentals? They are fundamental things that are there for our well-being as a whole human being. Okay, so looking at our physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, all of it. And so there are these different sort of fundamentals that we will talk about next week. I'll bring those into the mix next week, and we'll start sharing them. But I just wanted you to know that they're coming. All right, so they're another thing that I'm going to be able to share with you, and this one will also be part of it as well. Now, this is a life map. Okay, so it's about looking at your life as a whole and looking at all the areas, looking at relationships, looking at health, looking at your direction in life as far as work is concerned, looking at your self-worth, looking at your identity, looking at your connection with nature. It's, you know, it's a big thing. There's a lot on the life map, but because I want to share what I can with you in the 6 weeks, I'll share it with you. And it might be that we concentrate on the toolkit that I'm going to give you to begin with today, and these will come in, you know, that you can then carry on working with after we've finished. All right, so just so you know, they're coming. All right. Okay, I don't know if you can see this because I might be over the screen or whatever.
No, you're little in the corner.
It says there is a mismatch between our modern world and our human heritage. Okay, there is too much suffering and not enough emphasis on self-intelligence and personal agency. You know, we're so stuck in, you know, mental ill health now. You know, it's rife in the world, and it is a problem. You know, I'm supporting people in that field all the time. But what isn't done, and this isn't done from an early age, is we're not given the toolkit and we're not given the information and the education about our bodies, about our minds, about our brains from an early age, so we can understand when we're feeling anxious or we're feeling overwhelmed, what's going on inside and what we can do about it. And it's true, isn't it? And then, you know, we start to feel more lost, we start to feel more disconnected, we start to feel more different to other people because they seem to be okay and I'm not. And, you know, we do all this comparison and compare and despair and all that sort of stuff. And the mismatch that I'm talking about here, the mismatch between the modern world and our human heritage, is basically saying that the brain that we've got, that this wonderful thing here, this brain, that brain was formed over 200,000 years ago, a very, very, very long time ago. And it was formed originally as a reptilian brain, then it evolved into more of a mammalian brain, and then it evolved into our human brain, where we've got this extra part, this growth here called the frontal lobe, where we think. We have this wonderful thinking capacity. But we've still got the reptilian part, the mammalian part, that are very much more primitive parts of our brain that protect us, the very survival led, okay? And that's what gets us into trouble, because when we're thinking about possible scenarios, or we're overanalyzing something, or we're catastrophizing about something, or we're worrying and ruminating over something that happened 6 months ago, your brain doesn't know that the thing that you're thinking about was in the past or is in the future. So your brain, in its survival mechanism, will go, there's a problem here, and it will actually then send into the body what the body needs to protect itself from threat or danger. But actually there is no threat and there is no danger. The only threat and danger is the thought that you're having. Does that make sense to you? Little laugh there. So there's this mismatch between where we've come from, the brains that we brought with us, and the lives that we lead, because you just think about, you know, we're constantly bombarded, especially at the moment. You look at the last couple of years, you know, we've had COVID, now we're in uncertainty with wars, you know, and it's just, the world that we live in is chaotic, absolutely chaotic. And our brain is receiving all that sensory information. So if you're someone that watches the news all the time, or if you're in a house where the news is on a lot, you know, that's coming in, that sensory information that's coming in.
Yeah.
So
we don't watch the news really.
Okay, so
like negative.
It is, absolutely. It's, well, that's what media, you know, it's all about the drama. It's all about the drama, Lexi, you know what I mean? It's like, the more dramatic it is, the more people they'll get to watch. And that's what it's, you know, that's what it's all about. So that's what we're managing, that's what we're having to deal with. So that's why we get so stuck, you know, we can back ourselves into a corner, just like this guy painted the floor, you know what I mean? It's like, what do I do now? How do I get out of this? Is that a feeling that you can identify with? Yeah. Okay. So there's this stuck feeling, and we, you know, when we're stuck, what we want is, we think we want happiness, we think we want freedom, you know, and all the rest of it. Freedom is probably better to sort of talk about than happiness, but the state of being free is really about balancing and synchronizing all of your internal systems. It's not necessarily about having no thoughts coming in that, you know, that are negative, because that's going to happen. Okay, that's life. That's the way our brains work. It's about more about getting your mind, your brain, your body, your energy just moving again, you know. So from that stuck place, stuck is, you know, it's there's no movement, there's no, you know, you're absolutely stuck, and your systems aren't working properly, they're not connecting properly. And what I'm about is helping you to actually get some momentum, to get moving again, so that you can move out of that stuck place and be free, you know, be free of those stuck feelings, those lost parts. That's what we all want, isn't it? We want that freedom. Yeah. Do you think as a society we are conditioned into wanting, say, happiness, for instance?
I don't know. Never really thought about it, to be honest.
Well, we are. Okay, we're conditioned into, you start watching adverts. If you're watching the telly, okay, and you start watching the adverts, you'll see the adverts have all got underlying messages that are, you know, buy this product because it will make you happy. Okay, this will make you happy. You know, iPhones, just, you know, they're constantly new upgrades, you know, new phones. It's like, this will make you happy, that will make you happy. And of course, if you don't buy that, if you don't get that, that leaves you with this underlying feeling of, well, I haven't got that, so therefore I won't be happy without that. Now that's not,
but then you get it, and then you realize that it's actually no different, you've just got something new or whatever.
So you get the initial hit, don't you? You get a hit of what I call a hit of happiness, when you get the new thing, or you get the promotion at work, or, you know, you've got a new friend, or whatever it is. We get these hits that happen, but they're short-lived. And they're short-lived again because of the way we're made as humans. We've got something called hedonic adaptation, which basically means we adapt to the things very, very quickly. So that's exactly why Apple know this, all right? So they know that everyone will want the new one, okay? So that's why they constantly bring out new ones, because it's part of our makeup, it's part of who we are, and it's actually so that we evolved as a human species. Because if we'd have just been happy going out of our cave and eating the berries that are just outside the cave, for the rest of our lives. We would never have evolved. We would never have gone further afield and discovered different things. We'd have just been happy with that. We've been satisfied with,
that's all you know.
That's all we, you know, that's all.
Yeah.
But we're not designed that way. We're designed to explore. We're designed to evolve. We're designed to grow. And that's hedonic adaptation. So there you go. You've learnt that one already today. All right then. So I'm showing you a picture of a stress bucket. Okay. So we've all got our stress buckets. Okay. And, you know, the stress bucket gets filled with stress. Yes. Do you have a stress bucket?
I guess I do.
So would you say your stress bucket is big or small?
Varies in size.
Yeah, okay. So actually everybody's stress bucket by the age of, how old are you now?
27.
Okay, by your age, okay, by the age of about 25, our stress bucket is the size it's going to be for the rest of our lives.
Oh God, I'm buggered then.
Okay. No, you're not, because I will show you adaptions for your stress bucket. All right. So basically, most people, when they see that picture, go, oh my God, I've got an enormous stress bucket. You know, it's just like the biggest stress bucket in the world. And I said, actually, no, it's the opposite of that. If you can't handle stress, and if you suffer with anxiety and depression and low mood, etc., then actually you've got a very small stress bucket, because what's happened to you during your lifetime so far has meant that your stress, your tolerance for stress is very small. Okay, is very low. Now that's not a judgment, and that's not, oh, you've got a small stress bucket and she's got a big one. We all have lives, have experiences. It varies. So what we have to remember is that we've all got stress buckets. Some people are lucky and they've got bigger stress buckets, so that means they can tolerate more. And some people have got medium size, and some people have got small, and therefore, you know, when their stress comes in, they can't tolerate it very well, and therefore the system reacts to that. Okay, so what this picture shows you is that we've got little adaptations to our stress buckets. Okay, so if you look at the bottom part, you can see there's little taps that we can turn on and say, you know, when the stress comes in, we can actually have some little taps to let it out so that it doesn't overflow, because obviously stress is going to keep coming in. It's going to, you know, it's just going to keep coming in from all different angles. You know, we have stress at work, we have stress with relationships, we have stress with health, we have stress with losing people, you know, we have stress all the time. You know, that's part of life. So stress will always be coming into our bucket, but we can, and we do have these little stress valves, if you like, you know, little taps that can let the stress out so that it doesn't overflow. And of course, when our stress overflows, that's when, like, for instance, for you right now, your stress bucket has overflowed. Yeah, that's why you're feeling like you're feeling. It's because things aren't balanced in your life, and the stress is just, you know, overflowing out of your buckets. Okay, and your stress valves that you've got aren't working properly, so they could be blocked. Okay, does that make sense to you as a metaphor? Okay, all right then. So what we then do as human beings, because we think we're really clever, okay, is we try to find ways of putting our own valves on, putting some more taps on our stress bucket, okay, so that we can release some of that stress. So we think of ways to do that, and, you know, some of the ways are healthy and some of the ways aren't. Okay, so like at the bottom you can see pictures of sleep, you know, exercise, maybe, you know, meditation or thinking, you know, having positive mental attitude, that sort of thing, talking to people, going and having a counselling session, meditation. Those are all healthy stress releases, aren't they? They're all good for us. But then we do other things that are sort of across the top, and they're things like, you know, spending time, you know, at night on the computer, because we're sort of like we've gone down all the rabbit holes, and we're just sort of, you know, trying to find a way out of our mental distress. We can medicate, we can become couch potatoes and numb ourselves out by watching telly, or reading, or constantly sleeping, you know, just to numb life out. So there's things that we do that aren't healthy, all right, that we think at the time are helping us, but actually what they're doing is, yes, you think that the stress is
masking it.
Yeah, it's coming out, but look at that, it's going back in. Yeah, so it's a little tap and it's coming out of your stress bucket, but it's literally feeding straight back into the top. Okay, and this is the problem that we've got. We're doing all these things to try, as you say, to mask, to numb, distract, all that sort of stuff. And you know, this distraction thing, you know, phones, we talk about them, you know, they're constant source of discussion, aren't they? And you know, are they a tool of mass distraction? Are they a tool of mass destruction? You know, it's like, are we addicted to our phones? Well, the research actually shows that we're only addicted to, like, the pings, the notifications going on our phone, all that sort of thing, because of the emotional state or mental state that we are in. Does that make sense to you? So basically, I've said the pings only distract us 10% of the time. It's the pongs that cause us to want to distract ourselves for 90% of the time. And these are internal triggers. They're uncomfortable emotional states that we want to escape from. Okay, so we go to the phone to scroll, to distract ourselves, to numb ourselves out, because it's a really very, very, very easy distraction tool. How are you with your phone?
I'm dreadful.
Yeah,
absolutely dreadful. Yeah.
So you're on it a lot.
I wanted to get rid of Facebook, but it's like a catch-21, because if I get rid of Facebook, it means I can't run my mini club. And my mini club brings me happiness. So
what's your mini club?
I've got an old mini, and I run a car club and plan events.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. You've got a proper mini?
Proper mini, yeah.
Oh, see, they're just nothing like the new ones, are they?
I had someone message me the other day asking for advice about a new one, and I was like, I honestly don't know anything about them.
No, and you don't want to, do you?
No, I'm interested in mine. I mean, it's one of them. If someone's got one, cool, but
yeah,
I love mine.
Yeah, so I'm with you there. You know, it's like, it's a useful, and also it can be a real tool of communication, of connection. You know, having your mini club is actually a good thing.
It helps.
Yeah, it's a really good thing.
A lot.
Because you're communicating, you've got a connection with another human being, or other human, you know, a group of people.
Hundreds of them, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all you've got the same, you know, you've got the same passion, and that's really good for us, because actually that's if you go back to the brain, and back to, you know, where we first started as humans, we're very tribal. You know, we like to be in our little tribes. You know, so your mini club is a little tribe for you. So so it's just being aware, and I'm going to help you with that, of when you're going on it as a form of distraction, or when you're going on it actually because you are genuinely connecting with another human being. So and it's being able to sort of discern between the two. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm doing that today because I'm feeling really emotionally unstable, mentally off, so I'm scrolling, or I'm actually, you know, wanting to connect to my mini club and be connected to other human beings.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. So this really sort of did I mention these on the phone to you the other day about the Band-Aids? Yeah, okay. So this is the Band-Aids for you, sort of written out, okay? So these are what we do to distract ourselves. So we busy ourselves, we battle on with our protective personality. Now, what I mean by that, Lexi, is, you know, we've got a very protective personality and defensive personality if we don't feel good. Okay, so if we don't feel good inside, then we put the barriers up, we put the protective clay on us, you know, it's like, and we're very defensive of ourselves. And that could be quite openly as a frustration and a defense, or it could be you could go quite inward and very shy and very introvert. Okay, so protective personality, that's what it means. We avoid situations, we avoid people, we avoid tasks, we avoid feelings, we avoid thoughts. Okay, we numb ourselves to emotional pain using addictive behaviors: drink, drugs, shopping, phone, scrolling, etc. And distracting also fits into that: social media, telly, news, magazines, online gaming, and your social media. I already said that. So those are the 4 band-aids. Okay, so those are 4 ways in which you and I and everybody and every human being sort of when they're struggling, these are the things that they tend to turn to. And these are like those when we looked at that stress bucket and we looked at the ones that we've put the valves on, the extra taps, but they're actually going back into the bucket. That's what these do. They're short-term fixes, but they still do not release the stress. The stress comes back into the bucket. Does that, has that gone in? Does that mean, does that make sense to you? Yeah,
it does make sense.
Yeah, and if you look at all those things, those are generally what we do, and we've been, you know, we've learned to do. They're learned responses: busying and battling. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's what you do, isn't it? You pull your socks up and you get on with it. But actually that does not in the long term help us at all. And this is why perhaps we go through cycles of being okay and then going downhill again and not being okay, and then doing something to make us feel better for a while, and then we get back on and then we're okay for a little while, and then we go back down again. And this is why, because the actual things that we're doing to actually help ourselves are just plasters. You know, we're just putting a plaster over, you know, like
making it bigger and worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going septic under there, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because it's not getting the airtime that it needs. So the first thing I want you to do, Lexi, for me, is I want you to actually make a list of your Band-Aid behaviours. So I want you to list down all the things that you do to distract yourself, numb yourself, avoid, you know, all those things. So what you'll obviously you've got this video recording that will come through, but what I'll also do is I'll send some pictures through to you, like a Band-Aid picture that's got them all listed down, and I'll send you some notes through as well, so you've got things that you can sit and read to digest everything. Okay, so this is your first play date. Okay, I don't call it homework, I call it a play date, because we want to be curious about this. We want to bring some fun into this. This is such a serious topic that we're dealing with, but us human beings actually learn so much better by play and curiosity. And it takes the pressure off a little bit more. You know, it's not, this is I deal with the most serious thing in the world, but I try and make it as fun as possible so that you can enjoy the journey, you can enjoy the learning, you can enjoy the tools, and get better in the process. Right, so that's your first thing I'm going to ask you to do. All right, and so you'll make a list of your Band-Aids, and the reason you'll make the list is because I want you to start identifying when you're doing it, and then when you notice you're doing it, you will then be able to start replacing those behaviors with some of the tools that I'm going to give you today and over the next few weeks. All right, okay, so discombobulated, it's a lovely word. Do you like that word?
It's been used a lot in my family since we were growing up. It's always been a funny word.
It's good, isn't it? I love it. And it's about being confused, you see. So and I use it you know, utterly confused as to what has happened in your life. Why am I here? Why am I in this place? Now I'm not going to go into detail today about trauma, because when we had a chat on the phone the other day, you said, you know, you don't feel for you that there is any sort of majorly traumatic events. However, there is bullying that happened in your teen years. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think that's like a contributor to where I'm at, because it's never affected me being picked on in school. It did at the time, but then I don't even think about it. Like,
this is where I beg to differ with you, Lexi. Okay. Yeah. Because consciously you're saying, yeah, it's fine, it didn't bother me. Okay. But at the time, not even your thoughts, but your system, your brain, your nervous system, the parts of your brain that are need to keep you alive. If they felt that there was a threat to you at that time, it would have encoded that as a traumatic event in your brain and nervous system.
I'm just on a call, Dad. I'm just on a call. It's okay. Sorry.
It's all right, don't worry. So I'll say that again. All right. So basically, even though you don't think it's impacted on you, psychologically you're talking about now, you know, I don't think it's affected me. All right. At the time, your brain and nervous system will have protected you. Okay. It will have gone through a traumatic experience because it felt unsafe and it felt uncertain. Okay. So trauma doesn't have to be this big, you know, I'm being attacked or, going through what we would normally class as trauma. So just bear that in mind, Lexa. Don't discount that as a possible cause, all right? Because it possibly could be.
Okay.
Okay. So when we're discombobulated, our brain body system is stressed. And I think that's probably where you're at. I think you're possibly more towards the burnout side of things and the depression side of things than you are the high level anxiety type side of things. Okay. I love to play around with words. You might not see it because it says intention and then intention. Okay. So when we're in tension, we're discombobulated, we're stuck in the story. So the narrative of our life, you know, we keep on going over the same old. We're very reactive, defensive, we're stuck, we're numb, we're blocked, we're frozen, we can be stagnant in different areas of our life, feel quite disconnected, and there are broken parts within our whole. So I said to you, we don't need to be fixed, but there are parts of us that are stuck that need unblocking. Okay. When we use intention, okay, so when we are placing our attention on our intention, so those two words very similar, they sound the same, but they're completely different.
Yeah.
Then we can feel free. Okay, we can be much more responsive with our responses rather than reactive. Okay, we can be more creative with our thinking. I'm not saying we don't have to get the art pencils out. I'm on about creative with our thought and with our, you know, let's think outside the box type thing. We can process things a lot more. We evolve and we continue to grow rather than being stagnant. We're a lot more connected, not only to others, but to ourselves. And that's the big thing. It's this disconnection to ourself and we feel whole again. All right. So happy card time. I'm going to do this for you every time we have a session. So can you see these cards? All right. They're all back to front, probably on your screen. I don't know. They've all
upside down.
Yeah, they've all got a positive word on them. So I'm not going to look at the words. I'm going to turn them around so I can't see. And I'm going to pick one for you. Oh, okay. So it says, today I feel lucky.
Okay.
Lucky. So that is going to be your word for the week. Okay. So it's your intention for the week is whenever things are happening and maybe things aren't going so well, you can remind yourself and it's okay because today I'm feeling lucky. Okay. Now you're thinking, well, how's that going to help?
Yeah.
Yeah. it's just a reframe, okay, because we're so stuck in the stuckness that we need to be able to lift ourselves out of it. So every now and again, or even when you wake up in the morning, okay, you wake up and you go, you know what, today's going to be a lucky day. Yeah, so we're setting the intention that we're going to have luck. We're going to have things fall into place. Things are going to work well for us today. Everything's going to be good. Okay, so see it that way. That's your intention. Wake up in the morning before you even put your feet on the floor, when you get out of bed. Today is going to be a lucky day. I'm going to feel really lucky today. Okay, now we can feel lucky by the fact that we've got a house and we've got parents who love us and we've got food in the fridge, and you know, we've got all these things that a lot of people haven't got.
Yeah,
haven't we? So we are really lucky when you think about, if we put ourselves in someone else's shoes, Ukraine for instance, yeah, we are extremely lucky at the moment, are we not? Yeah. Okay, all right then. So what I'm going to share with you is something called the Magnificent Seven. Okay, now the reason why there is a sort of 7 cowboys across the bottom is because there's an old film called The Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
And it was back in, you ask your mum and dad, okay, how old's your mum and dad?
In my 60s.
Yeah, so they'll remember this. Okay, so The Magnificent Seven was an old-fashioned like Western film. Okay, and I've just used that, you know, there are 7 tools that I'm going to share with you, so I've called it the Magnificent Seven for fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and transform your life in 6 weeks, all right, with these 7 science-backed tools and techniques. Now the first one, I've just given you a little hint, and that first one is called the top 10. Now, the top 10, I need you to get yourself a journal, a book, a notebook. You could have a book already in the house that you can use. So you don't have to go out and buy one. But I want you to write down every night before you go to bed is the best time to do this. I want you to write down 10 things that you are grateful for.
Okay.
Okay, so have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
Okay, all right. I will explain to you, I will send through to you, Lexi, little individual learning labs that are called, they're little videos that explain each of these tools. So it will be me on video telling you all about the tool. So it gives you the science behind it. Okay, so I'm not going to spend the time now telling you that, because that will, when you can watch it after, you can do that. All right. So 10 things. So you need a journal, a notebook, and you're going to write down 10 things before you go to sleep of things that you appreciate, things that have gone well today, things that you are grateful for. All right. And you're going to do that every night before you go to sleep.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So that's your first one. And, you know, I've said, you know, you can call it whatever you like, my experimentation journal, my appreciation diary, you know, whatever you, my journal, whatever you want to call it. You could also do a happy jar, and we'll talk about that next week. We don't need to talk about that today. This one is really important. Well, they're all really important. That's why they're here. That's why there's 7 of them. That's why they're magnificent. Okay. This one's called the healthy selfie, or self-havening. Now, again, some of these techniques I share with you, you're thinking, well, how is that going to help me? You know, I am stuck in this low place at the moment. How is this going to help me?
If I don't try, I'm never going to know.
Exactly. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. They're all done for a reason. Every one of the 7 tools has got a different physiological thing that's attached to it. It will change you in a certain way. It'll change parts of your brain. It'll change parts of your nervous system. So they're all there for a reason. Okay. So this one is actually a technique where, if I can just pull my camera down a little bit, what you do with the healthy selfie or self-havening is you cross your arms across your chest, stick your hands on your shoulders, and then you just stroke down to your elbows. You don't go back up. you literally go back up that way. So you take them off and come down. So it's always a downward stroking movement, okay? And you're stroking down like that. Now, the other part that you can stroke is your hands. And the other part that you can stroke is your face, all right? So you can actually, like if you're putting cream onto your face,
yeah,
do this, okay? Just do it like that, obviously.
Right, okay.
Now, again, I'm not going to go into the science of it because I want to fit in the 7 before we finish, all right?
Yeah.
But this one is a technique called havening, and it's a psychosensory technique that calms down your nervous system. From a nervous system level, from a brain level, it lowers your brain waves. It stops them being in that high stress level of brainwave down to a much lower brainwave level. And for me and the work that I do, this one technique has is literally completely changed the support that I give to people. It's miraculous. However, not everybody.
Yeah, doesn't work.
It doesn't work for everybody, and that's why there's a range. Okay, so and when you're doing it, the other thing to add to it when you're doing it, okay, is I am safe, I am peaceful, I am calm. Whatever words for you make you feel good, make you feel safe. Okay, so I'm safe, I am peaceful, I am calm. It's a great one to use as a proactive tool. So you can do, again, when you wake up in the morning, you can do it. I do it in the shower as well. Do you know what I mean?
Right, okay. Yeah.
So you can fit it in to your day around other things. I'll do it while I'm boiling the kettle. If I've had a really stressful phone call or something's happened, I'll do it to calm myself down. So you can use it as a proactive tool or a responsive tool. So it can help you calm down in a moment of high stress, or you can build up your resilience by using it. Does that make sense? You can use it in both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that's showing you the brainwave states. The one that you're in when you're really stressed is the active vigilant state, where your beta waves are really sort of erratic and chaotic. And what you get into when you do the havening is you get into the delta. So much lower. Delta frequency is what we have when we're in deep sleep, deep REM sleep. Okay, so that's what it takes you to. And I don't know if you know this guy. This is Paul McKenna. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Right, Paul McKenna was instrumental in this technique. Okay, so he was part of the foundation of havening. So and he talks about it in all of his books and everything now, because he used to use hypnosis. He now uses havening more than anything to help all of his clients. So it's not just something that or just go stroke your arms, it'll make you feel nice. It really does. Yeah, it really does help. So those are the 3 ways you can use it. And the other thing I said to you about doing this, what I want you to do also is cross it over the other way. Okay, so you've got my right hand is dominant at the moment, but then I cross it over so my left hand is on the top. The reason I want you to do that is because it actually helps with the integration of this into your whole system. Your brain has 2 sides, a left and a right, and we actually want the 2 sides to be starting to work together harmoniously. Again, I've got lots of videos that I'll send you that explain all of that sort of stuff to you. So that's the same. Okay. So what you're going to be doing from now on is you're going to be learning to be the observer of what's going on for yourself rather than the absorber. Okay. So I have a sponge here, like a big car sponge. Okay. So you have been absorbing all the stress, you have been absorbing all the crap, okay, and there's this very heavily laden stress sponge that you've got now, not this light sponge that I've got. Yours is full of that stress water. Okay. What you are learning to do with me over the next 6 weeks is how to actually not absorb that anymore, but observe it more. So you're observing what's happening in your body. You're observing the thoughts that you're having. You're not actually going to actively change them. You're just going to observe them, because the observer can then actually, it will, in the observance of what's happening, that in itself takes the sting out of the tail. Okay, that itself works. So, you know, like there on the picture, the guy's going, oh, it's raining, I'm absorbing all this rain and it's horrible and I hate this weather. But the opposite of that is, oh, how curious, I noticed that it's raining today. You know, it's like there's a difference. Okay, so the Let's Explore practice, again, I'm going to send you the learning lab for it. Again, this is very much about if you're having intrusive thoughts, if you're having negative thoughts, if you're feeling really tight in your stomach or your shoulders, we start to go, oh God, I'm here again, I'm feeling this again, I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I'm feeling really emotional, whatever it is. Okay, what you do instead of being in it, okay, is you observe it. And you go, I'm thinking, literally, I'm thinking, I'm feeling. I'm not asking you to say, I'm thinking this or I'm feeling that. It's just, I'm thinking, I'm feeling. Now, what that does, it's called psychological distancing. Okay, these have all got science-based terms that sort of back them all up for you. But what you're doing is you're putting some distance between the sensation that you're having and your response to that sensation, Lexi. So it's called psychological distancing. So are you feeling a little bit mind blown already? Because we're like 3 in. Oh dear. Yeah, and you're going to be, because I'm packing it all in the hour for you. All right, normally I'd probably spend half a day going through these, gently exploring them, getting you to practice them, you know what I mean? But I want you to have all of this, and then you can unpick it all. When you've got the video, you can then sit down and go, okay, right, I'll play that bit, let's make some notes, let's make a plan, let me understand that, do I need to rewind it, do I need to go back? So that's what we're doing. All right, so I do apologize that we're going fast and I'm shoving at you, but I'm making the most of the time that we've got. All right, so Let's Explore, that sort of goes through what we're doing, and then this one is actually an audio that I'm going to send through to you. It's called the Heart Presence Experiment. And basically what it is, it's like a meditation where you listen to the audio. It's me, it's my voice, okay? And it helps you to connect more to your heart. And the heart and the brain are very connected, okay? However, when we are struggling and we are feeling disconnected in ourselves, then that connection between the heart and the brain becomes very chaotic. And what we want to do is we want to bring more rhythm and more balance back to that connection between the heart and the brain. Most people think the brain is the most important part of us, you know, the thinking part. It's actually the heart that is much, much, much more powerful, much more powerful. The heartbeat is formed in the uterus, in a baby before the brain. Okay, so the heart is really, really important. So that's all about coherence. And then this one, the play process, again, the name, you know, it's fun, it's curious, all the rest of it, but it's one of the most hardest tools that I give people to practice, because it means that you've got to go into and explore sensations that you are feeling when you are struggling. Okay, so what you do with play is we turn the word play around and we come backwards. So it's actually an acronym, YALP, YALP. Okay, so what we do with play is when you're having a feeling, a sensation, when you're feeling really overwhelmed, like you said, like the other night, you know, I just wanted to go and have a cuddle with my mum, or a cuddle with the was it the dog or the cat? The dog.
The dog.
Yeah, okay, so there was something going on for you mentally and emotionally, you were disturbed, you were feeling off. Okay, when you're in that sort of place, this is when you do the play practice. You don't distract, you don't avoid, you don't numb, okay? You actually lean into it, because what it needs is it needs your attention. why we get so disconnected and why we get so shut off and feel so low and numb, or we get really anxious, is because we're not processing the internal sensations that we're feeling. We're labeling them and we're saying that, oh, we shouldn't have these and this is horrible and I don't want it and it's negative, and we try and shut it away. But you can't shut it away. It gets locked away somewhere in your system, and then it starts to really become toxic and starts to harm you. So what this practice does is allows you to go in and lean into it. Now that sounds awful, but actually the practice itself is not, you're not unpicking your life, you're not unpicking everything. All you're doing is feeling sensations in your body. So you're going in and you're going, yeah, okay, I'm here, I'm in this present moment, I'm going to do this, Jules has asked me to do it, I'm going to try it out. Then the A is about accepting, I'm accepting that this is how I'm feeling. This is, I'm accepting all these things that are happening and I'm experiencing them. I'm going to acknowledge that they're here. And then you lean in. All right. So you actually lean in to where the sensations are. And I will send you an audio script, which goes through it all for you. I'll send you images so that you can read it up before you actually have a go at it, and it takes you through step by step what to do. Once you've gone through and leaned into all the sensations, you then get to the last bit, which is pinpointing. I'm pinpointing how I'm feeling now, because what will be happening is you'll be processing it. And emotions are actually chemicals that are moving through your body. And if you're trying to block them, they will get stuck. But actually what they want to do, the chemicals just want to move. They just want to move through you. Okay. They want to give you a little message and say, this is a problem and this is not nice. And you're supposed to listen to it and go, okay, thank you very much. And we deal with it. Okay. But we don't, we shut it away. So when you get to P, what you'll most likely find if you practice this and keep going with it, when you get to P, those sensations that were quite intense to begin with will have dissipated, will have actually calmed down. You've allowed yourself to process them. And if you still feel a little bit on edge or still feel uneasy or whatever, you can then actually use that havening touch to calm the system down, because it will actually help the system process and release those emotions. So we're nearly there. Okay. All right. Now this one is called the ballroom breath. Oh dear, I do have fun when I come up with all of these names, Lexi, I'll tell you. Okay. So it's called the ballroom breath because there's a count in it, so and that's why I've called it the ballroom breath, because it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So like you're counting the so what it is, it's 2 inhales through the nose and 1 long exhale through the mouth. So basically it's and you can do that in any pattern. So it can be, so it could be longer, you know what I mean? But it just, what you've got to do is you've got to have the 2 and then the 1. All right, you've got to have the 2 inhale through the nose and the 1 exhale through the mouth. Now, again, I am not going to go into the science of it now. I will send you the learning lab on this video, okay, on this particular technique. But basically what this does is it completely calms down your system when it gets agitated. Okay, it connects to certain parts of the brain, it connects to certain parts of the body. It is, for one tiny little tool, it is phenomenal. Okay, absolutely phenomenal. Have you done any breathing practices before?
No.
Okay, so everything I'm telling you today is all new to you. Okay, so I can see why it's like, oh my God, there's so much here. So this is why you can't go back to work for at least a week, 2 weeks, because you've got too much to do. We've got all these things to fit in. Okay, and then this one is I think the final one, and I call it the Just Be body scan, or sometimes I call it the right here, right now. In fact, I think the audio that I'm sending through to you for this one is called Right Here, Right Now. Okay, and the reason I put the barcode on there is like, it's like you're scanning your body, like you scan something in the supermarket, okay? But you're scanning your body from top to toe. So what you're going to do is I'm going to recommend you do this just before. So when you've done your top 10 practice, where you've written down your 10 things from the day that are good, then put the audio on and listen to this while you're in bed, okay, before you go to sleep. And what it will do is it will actually relax your entire body, okay? It's got another name as well, it's called Yoga Nidra, and what this does is, again, it puts your present attention on different parts of your body, part by part, and it just puts your body into a very, very relaxed state before you go to sleep. So then when you are asleep, okay, you can have a much better sleep, a much deeper sleep. Your biochemicals that are in your body before you sleep are completely different than going to bed stressed, than going to bed upset, than going to bed emotionally overwhelmed. So doing the body scan and doing the top 10 will change your physiology, because it's changed the biochemistry, and therefore your sleep will be much deeper.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Mostly.
Mostly, yeah. So you're now, for the next week, going to enter your own experimental laboratory, your own life lab, okay? And you're going to practice these 7 tools, and you're going to work out, you know, how can I do that? Maybe I could do that breath while I'm boiling the kettle. Maybe I can do the havening when I'm in the shower. So it's not like they're not going to take you hours. No. Once you've actually looked at it all and you've, you know, wrote it down and you've watched the videos again and you can understand them, I want you then to sort of, if you like, set yourself a bit of a plan and go, okay, I'm going to do that then, and I'm going to do that then. I find then I use my tech, I'll use my phone, and I have alarms on my phone to remind me. So, you know, at certain times of the day, my alarm will go off and it will remind me to do the ballroom breath. Okay, or certain times of the day it'll remind me to do some self-havening. Okay, so they're not just responsive tools, they're tools to actually build your buoyancy up, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you see this armband? It's a little frozen armband, you know. So it's about putting the air in, okay, to help you float more, so that when life knocks you down again, you'll go down, but you'll be able to come back up because you're a lot more buoyant. Okay, you'll be able to swim, you know, in the stormy water. Basically, that's what it's all about. So there's your magnificent 7, your top 10, your self-havening, your let's explore, heart presence, play practice, ballroom breathing, body scan. Okay, so this wasn't, you know, let's talk about how you feel, all right? Because I know what you need. I know your nervous system needs this. I know what your body needs. I know what your brain needs. And these tools are going to actually start to regulate your system. So what I've done today is I've gone in like at 100 miles an hour and given you the tools. What we will then do during the week, I will ask you to check in with me and sort of say, you know, I've put a plan together, Jules, I've practiced that, or I'm going to do that at that time. So send me texts or WhatsApps to tell me what you're doing, all right, and how you're getting on with stuff. And then we'll keep in touch. And then what we'll do in a minute is we'll book your next session in. And then in your next session, we'll review how you're getting on with the toolkit. But I'll then also start to share a little bit more of the science about you as a human, and give you a little bit more knowledge about the brain-body system, the nervous system, so that you can see where it's all come from and where these tools are helping you and how they're going to impact on that, and do it that way for you. How does that sound?
Really good.
Okay. Yeah. All right, brilliant. So we'll talk about this on the next session, because this is really the primary pillars of support. So you've gone to the doctors, for instance, okay? Doctors generally will either give you psychotherapy, you know, counselling, talking therapy, that sort of stuff, or psychopharmacology, which basically means drugs and tablets. Okay, so what I'm about is not about those two things. I'm about you understanding. I'll just put myself back on screen. It's about you understanding more about yourself so that you can be in control of your responses and understand what's going on. And then when we can understand ourselves more, self-awareness is the biggest thing, and then you're much more in control for the rest of your life, not just for now, you know, forever. Okay. So we're done. I've told you everything I want to tell you today. So any questions you've got of me before we leave?
No questions.
Okay.
I very rarely have questions.
Yeah, okay. What are your thoughts with regards to everything I've said? Is it completely and utterly not what you expected? Is it?
I didn't have an expectation. I just sort of come in, well, just, I don't know what the word is, like, just ready for whatever.
Yeah.
As I say, I'll definitely try whatever it is, because I want to be better.
Of course you do. I
want to be like the old me.
Yeah, absolutely. With regards to that, what you've just said, the old me and
new me, a new old me.
Yeah, absolutely. I want you to think of your identities as another little thing, okay? So I want you to think of the identity that identifies with feeling overwhelmed, feeling emotional, feeling stuck, okay? And then the new identity of who I want to be, okay? Not even who I want to become, because if you set a goal over there, then
you're not going to go for it.
Yeah, it's too
Life
far
gets
away.
in the way.
I want you to think about, how can I embody this now? Okay, this is who I want to be now. All right.
Yeah.
So I want you to actually come up, have some fun with it, use Google if you like, okay, because I do. And I want you to come up with two identities beginning with L. So the old Lexi and the new Lexi, okay? So, you know, lost Lexi, for instance, and lively Lexi, or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
where I'm going, but be really creative with it and go, you know, Google words beginning with L and read them all and think, oh my God, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
And let me know what you've chosen, because what you can do with that is then when you're having a moment, okay, when you're having a crisis or when you're having a bit of a wobble, all right, you can then choose, okay, so lost Lexi would have done this, lost Lexi would have reacted that way, but lively Lexi will be doing this. Lively Lexi is okay. Do you know what I mean? So you're automatically putting some space between the old you, okay, and the new version of who you are now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So with regards to getting everything over to you, I've got another couple of meetings this afternoon.
That's okay.
So it hopefully will be tonight. It might
tomorrow's fine. Yeah, tomorrow or whenever's fine.
But the video recording will be coming over to you tonight at some point. Okay. The only concern I have is today my laptop keeps on saying, I have no memory left. There's no storage left. So if it hasn't recorded the video, I have recorded the audio, so we've got something you can listen to, so don't worry. But let's set the intention that there's enough memory space on my computer. Now, with regards to I haven't got my diary here, it's downstairs. We can
book it whenever. You just text me, because
next week it is Easter for me, as in I'm off on holiday. So we're away. So ideally, I'll have a look at the dates and I'll text you a couple of options.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we can go from there.
That's okay. I might be away as well. I don't know when. I've got a camper, so I'm going to take myself away.
What sort of camper have you got?
It's nothing special. It's just a Vivaro.
Nothing.
I don't know how to turn this round. I don't really do Zoom very often. Oh, there.
Oh, fantastic.
And then my minis.
Size. Brilliant. And that's your little mini.
Yeah, the mini's out. The mini's normally away, but it's chilling at the minute.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'll probably maybe go away at some point. Don't know when. Just take myself and a book away.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Well, hopefully the weather, I think someone said the other day that the weather's going to be quite nice next week. So
Hopefully.
I'm off to Falmouth. So
oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Our daughter's hoping to go to Falmouth Uni, or she's considering it as an option. So we've got open day next Wednesday, so we're going down.
You might as well make a holiday of it. Yeah.
It's a long way.
I don't know where it is. I've never heard of it.
Falmouth is the far end of Cornwall, so basically as far down south as you can possibly get. It's down the bottom.
Because my brother got married not far from, well, we stayed in Mevagissey.
Yeah. Down
is it? Yeah. And so that's where I first went in my van. When I did it, I went for a week on my own in my van.
Yeah, it's a long way, isn't it?
It is a long way, especially when I didn't have a radio or anything.
Oh gosh, wow. Yeah, no, so yeah, she's thinking about going there. It's really funny because my eldest daughter, she's 32 now. No, I'm aging her, she's 31. She went to Edinburgh.
Oh, right.
So she went to the very top of the country. So and is now thinking about going to the very bottom. So they obviously just want to get a long way away from their mother.
Oh, bless.
Brilliant. Okay, well, it's great to speak to you. I will get everything over I can as soon as I can. And the main thing now is that you start to put it into practice.
Yes, I will.
Awesome.
I will. Thank you.
That's all right. Okay, speak to you soon.
All right, speak to you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.